I just got back from doing a clinic in Massachusetts, and one of the topics that came up that we discussed at the clinic, I think warrants a video and some more discussion about. I'm on Hank here, and Hank is a pretty accomplished reining horse and rein cow horse. And you get a horse up to a pretty high level like that, in order to get them there, you have to keep educating them, keep pushing them along, keep pushing their knowledge, how much you can teach them. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about. I've talked about the 50, 70, and 90% days, and that is 50%, 70%, and 90% effort. And the 70% and 90% days are days that I ask the horse to work a little bit harder, do a little bit more. Some of those days might be a little bit faster circles, a little bit faster spin, things that are challenging that horse's ability to get the horse to be a little bit better. Anytime you challenge a horse's level where he's at, it's always going to fall apart a little bit because the horse's training isn't there. And then you go back, work at the level where they're comfortable, get it back correct again, and then ask for a little bit more effort. And you keep challenging that and building that a little bit more, and that's how you get a horse trained to a high level like Hank is here. What a lot of people do, they know the horse is good at doing this item, this thing, at this level, and they keep reinforcing that, and it's good, but the horse never advances past that. And you have to keep challenging in order to get the horse to advance. And then there's other things in there, like we discussed at this clinic, where the horses weren't using their back end as good as they could have because they weren't really being challenged to. And if you're not asking the horse to get better, in a lot of cases, the horse is regressing in training. It doesn't always mean kicking harder, pulling harder, which sometimes that's what you need to do. But sometimes asking the horse to challenge the horse a little bit more is just in when you're going to release the pressure. That's like Hank here. Hank has developed a pretty decent spin, and it has nothing to do with kicking harder. It has to do with when I release the pressure. So if I ask him to step around, I let him stop after he gives me a couple quicker steps. Now, I kicked on him a little bit that time, but I don't always have to. Let's go that direction again, and let's see if he'll spin a little faster, and I'll let him stop and reward the effort, and effort becomes the reward. And when you do it that way, your horse will try to do things to a better level to get the reward. So let's spin left again, and let's see what happens. Whoa. And reward the effort. I had to bump on him a little bit. They're feeding some horses around here, and I don't have his attention, or he would be speeding up on his own. Little things like that you can do so that your horse tries a little harder on his own, and you're not even putting that much effort. I didn't even kick him that hard, and I got more effort. Let's go to the right and see what happens. Whoa. Whoa. That was a little bit better effort than it was to the left, and I didn't even touch him with a spur that time. So there's a lot of things that you can do. If you'll put some thought into it so that your horse actually challenges himself to be better, and your horse will progress in training, and you will progress as a rider. You can't get complacent with where your horse is in training. If you do, then your training is going to stagnate. You're going to quit growing as a rider, and your horse is going to quit progressing. So if you got any questions about that, put in the comments. Let's talk about it. That's where I put most of the more in-depth training videos, like I'm doing here. And It's Tim Anderson Horse Training on Patreon, and I've got 3 different levels, and 3 different levels get you 3 different things. So I appreciate everybody for following me there. And if you want more in-depth training videos, that's where they're going to be at. I want to thank everybody for supporting me on Patreon. That's where I usually post some of the more detailed training videos. There's 3 levels: $5, $25, $75. $5 level, you get access to all those detailed training videos. $25 level, you get access to all the videos, plus you get 20% discount on video lessons, and you're entered for a drawing for a giveaway that I do once a month. $75 level, you get all of that, plus you get a free video lesson a month. I'll get thousands of questions a day. There's no way I can answer them all, but I answer Patreon questions every day. Patreon, Tim Anderson Horse Training. I appreciate everybody for supporting me there. So let's work on his backup a little bit, and let's see if I can get him to put effort into his backup without even really me doing a whole lot. Let's see if I can develop his desire to give me more effort. And release. Got a little bit crooked. Let's step him around this way. And let's back up again. That was a little bit better. Now, I'll bump on him a little bit, ask for a little bit more effort, and I'm going to get soft again. We'll see what happens. Now let's see if I'll get effort without the bumping. Started giving me a couple of steps, and then he got slow again. But that's exactly the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Keep challenging your horse to give you a little bit more effort. Doesn't have to be a lot. Don't have to have a blinding fast spin. Doesn't have to have a blinding fast backup. I'm just asking for a couple little bit quicker steps. That's all I want. And if you keep getting those little bit quicker steps, everything will continue to get better with your horse, and your horse will continue to improve in his training. So this is Hank. I'll put a link up here to his videos on YouTube, to his playlist. Until next time, thank you for watching. If you live up north in one of the colder environments, we're in the south. Our winters are usually pretty mild, highs in the 70s, lows in the 40s. If you'd like to send your horse down so I can keep it conditioned over the winter so you'll be ready to show when it comes back in the spring, or if you have one you'd like to get started, it's a great time of the year to start them, and then in the springtime we'll send it back home and you'll be able to continue.